Listen to me. Ladies, because what I'm about to tell you today can change your whole perspective on relationships. And it can change the way a man sees you, treats you, and values you. Now, I know you've heard a lot of advice out here. Books, videos, friends, social media posts. But there are some things that are timeless. Some things that go beyond trends, beyond fads, beyond the little games people play. I'm talking about the deep, unshakable truths about love, respect, and power in relationships. And one of those truths is this: a woman must always, and I mean always, keep certain things hidden from a man. See, here's what a lot of women don't realize: mystery is not a game. It's not manipulation. It's a form of value. A man doesn't stay addicted to everything you show him. He stays addicted to what he still can't quite figure out. When he's with you, when he's watching you, when he's talking to you, when he's learning you, what keeps his attention isn't just your looks. It's not just your body. It's not even just your personality. It's that little piece of mystery you hold back. It's the unspoken, the unseen, the unshared parts of you. That's what keeps him leaning in. That's what keeps him chasing. That's what keeps him saying, man, I don't have her all figured out yet. Now, I'm going to walk you through this. And I need you to take it seriously. Because if you start exposing everything, your weaknesses, your insecurities, your fears, your past, your dreams, you think you're building intimacy, but what you're really doing is stripping away your power. You're laying all your cards on the table before the game even begins. And once the mystery is gone, once the chase is over, once he feels like he knows everything about you, that's when the fire starts to fade. That's when he starts looking around, wondering what else is out there. So let's talk about these 5 things a woman must always hide from a man. Number 1, never show him all your insecurities. Listen, we all got them. Every single person in this room has some part of themselves they don't like, something they're insecure about. And ladies, I know y'all are hard on yourselves. You see things about your body, your looks, your career, your choices, and you beat yourself up. But let me tell you this, when you dump all that on a man, when you show him every crack, every bruise, every doubt, you're giving him the power to either comfort you or crush you. And not every man deserves that kind of power. Some men will use those insecurities against you. Some men will take advantage of that vulnerability. And even the good ones, listen carefully, even the good ones can lose attraction if they feel like you don't see your own worth. Because if you don't value you, how do you expect him to? Number 2, never give him every detail about your past. Now, I know people say honesty is the best policy, and I agree with that to a point. You should be real. You should be upfront, but you don't need to hand him the entire diary of your life. He doesn't need to know about every mistake, every heartbreak, every man who ever hurt you, every bad decision you ever made. Because here's the truth, men are territorial. Men have egos. You can tell him you've moved on. You can tell him you're different now. But deep down inside, if you hand him too much of your past, he's going to compare himself to it. He's going to measure himself against it. That can mess with the way he sees you and the way he sees himself. Some parts of your past are yours, not his. And keeping those things private doesn't make you dishonest. It makes you wise. Number 3, never reveal how much you're willing to sacrifice for him. Listen, love is giving, love is serving, love is compromise. But when you start showing a man that you'll give up everything, your dreams, your time, your standards, your values, just to keep him, you've already lost. Because once a man sees that you'll do anything to keep him, he stops trying. He stops working. He stops pursuing. Because why would he chase what's already chained to him? And that's why, ladies, you've got to keep a piece of yourself sacred. A piece that says, I love you, and I love me too. I want you, but I don't need you. I'll walk with you, but I'll never crawl just to stay by your side. That's the power of boundaries. That's the power of self-respect. Number 4, never expose your full independence right away. Now, this one's tricky because I know you've worked hard to be independent. You've built your career. You've made your money. You've built your life. You're proud of it, and you should be. But here's the thing. Men are wired to feel needed. If you show him right off the bat that you don't need anything, that you've got it all figured out, that there's no place for him to step in, no role for him to play, he won't know how to connect. He won't know how to give. He won't know how to serve. And yes, you are independent, but you don't have to throw that in his face. Hold it back a little. Let him earn his place. Let him feel like he's contributing to your life. Because when a man feels needed, he feels alive. And number 5, never reveal the full depth of your love too soon. Now, this one is the biggest one. This one right here can save you or break you. Because when you love a man, when you really fall, I know how deep you love. Women love in a way that men can't even understand. When you give your heart, you give your soul. But if you show him that too early, if you hand him the keys to your heart before he's proven he deserves them, you set yourself up for pain. A man has to earn that love. He has to work for it. He has to fight for it. And if you give it away too soon, without the test, without the trial, without the chase, then he doesn't value it. He doesn't protect it. He doesn't honor it. See, these 5 things, they're not about lying. They're not about playing games. They're not about manipulation. They're about protecting your soul. They're about protecting your value. They're about making sure that the man who's standing in front of you is worthy of everything you've got to give. Because let's be real, what you bring to the table is priceless. The way you love, the way you nurture, the way you hold a man up when life breaks him down, that's something no amount of money can buy. And if you just hand it out to anybody, if you just lay it bare for whoever comes along, you're not just cheapening yourself, you're robbing yourself. So what do? You guard your heart. You move with wisdom. You show him enough to connect, but never so much that he stops chasing. You let him see your beauty, your strength, your humor, your kindness, but you hold back just enough so he always leans in closer. Because let me tell you something, men are hunters. And if you take the hunt away, you take the thrill away. Now, I'm not saying you build walls. I'm not saying you stay cold, distant, untouchable. No. What I'm saying is you give him a little at a time. You let him earn his way deeper into your world. You let him earn your trust. earn your vulnerability, earn your love. When he proves himself, when he shows you he's not just here for the fun, not just here for the surface, but here for the depth, then you open up more. Then you share more. Then you give more. Because here's the truth, ladies, you are the prize. You are the treasure. And a treasure that's easy to find, easy to take, easy to own. It doesn't stay valuable for long. But a treasure that's rare, that's hidden, that's protected, that's the kind of treasure a man will fight for, work for, and never let go of. When a woman steps into a man's life, the energy she carries sets the tone for everything that comes after. Before a man ever speaks, before he ever decides how far he wants to go with her, he is watching how she carries herself, how she values herself, and how she positions herself in her own story. Insecurity is something every human has, but when a woman lays them all out on the table, exposes every crack, every doubt, every piece of her that questions her worth, she teaches a man how to see her. And men by nature respond to what is presented. If you tell him over and over that you are not good enough, not pretty enough, not smart enough, not worthy of his attention, he begins to believe you, not because it is true, but because you have repeated it like a mantra. Insecurity in small doses can make someone human, but insecurity displayed without boundaries tells him you don't trust your own value. And if you don't trust your value, why should he? Men are drawn to women who have an inner confidence, not because she has everything figured out, not because she is flawless, but because she carries herself with a quiet, knowing that she is enough. I know it sets the standard. It tells him how he should speak to her, how he should treat her, and what she will or won't allow. A woman must protect her insecurities the way she protects her heart. He doesn't need to know that you cried in front of the mirror this morning because you thought your hair didn't look right. He doesn't need to hear every single time you compare yourself to another woman on social media. He doesn't need the story of how your last relationship broke you so deeply that you still doubt if anyone could love you again. That information is too fragile to give away recklessly. Not because it isn't real, not because it doesn't matter, but because when you hand all of it over, you hand him a blueprint of your weak spots. And not every man deserves to know where your walls are thin. Men, even the good ones, have an instinctive tendency to test what is in front of them. If you reveal that you fear abandonment, he may unconsciously pull away just to see how you react. If you admit that you feel unworthy, he may unconsciously treat you in ways that reinforce that belief. It is not always intentional cruelty. It is often subconscious, but it still sets up a cycle where your greatest fears come true. The way you break that cycle is by holding your insecurities close, managing them within yourself, and showing him only the strength that rises from them, not the raw wound. This doesn't mean a woman should pretend to be made of stone. Authenticity is powerful, but authenticity is not the same as emotional exposure. Authenticity is being real about who you are, what you want, what you believe. Exposure is giving him every unfiltered, unhealed piece of your soul and hoping he holds it gently. The truth is, not every man knows how to hold that kind of weight. And when you give it away too soon, you risk teaching him that your love comes tied with your fragility and that his approval is the cure for your doubt. That is a dangerous place to stand, because once a man feels like your sense of worth depends on him, the balance of power shifts. Value is magnetic. A woman who walks into a room and owns her space doesn't need to declare her fears to be seen. She doesn't need to confess every insecurity for him to recognize she's human. Her very presence tells him that while she may have storms inside, she also has the wisdom to know not everyone gets to see them. When she chooses to share, she shares selectively with trust earned, not given away at the first sign of attention. That selectiveness builds respect. It tells a man that her heart is not open territory. It must be earned. When a woman makes the mistake of putting her insecurities out front, a man can easily mistake her vulnerability for a lack of self-respect. He may not consciously judge her, but deep down, he starts to think, if she doesn't see her own value, why should I see it? That thought shifts how he pursues her, how he invests in her, and even how he envisions a future with her. But when she holds her insecurities back and presents herself as a woman who knows her worth, he rises to the standard she sets. He speaks differently. He moves differently. He invests differently. Think about it like this: a man values what he has to work for. If you tell him you don't feel beautiful and you wait for him to reassure you, the dynamic is already tilted. He feels like he is the source of your confidence. But if you show up confident, radiant, and self-possessed, he feels lucky to be in your orbit. He doesn't see himself as your savior. He sees himself as your partner. And that is the shift that makes him respect and cherish you in ways he cannot explain. A woman's insecurities are her private battles. They are meant to be managed, healed, and shared only with those who have proven they can hold them without weaponizing them. Men fall in love with strength wrapped in softness, not fragility that seeks constant rescue. When you carry yourself with assurance, even when you are still working through your doubts, you send a message to every man who encounters you: I am valuable, and I decide how I am treated. That message alone shapes the way he shows up. A man's natural instinct is to protect, provide, and pursue, but he only does that wholeheartedly when he believes the woman he's with is worth it. And how does he measure that worth? Not by your looks alone, not by your charm alone, but by the way you carry your value. If you diminish yourself with your own words, if you expose every insecurity and ask him to fix it, you unintentionally lower your price in his eyes. But if you guard those insecurities and instead show him the strength you have cultivated from them, he sees a woman who is priceless. Insecurities are not flaws. They are simply areas of growth. But they are not gifts to hand a man early. They are pieces of yourself that you guard until he proves his consistency, his character, and his capacity to hold them without shifting the balance of respect. Because the standard you set is the standard he follows. And the way you protect your value determines how he invests his.